Hey guys, just wanted to address some questions and comments from yesterday's New York Times article. Somebody asked, so what should I go by? Should I go by my blood work or should I go by my 23andMe tests? Some of you may have already guessed the answer to this, but you need to use both. So here's what to not do. Okay, if you're the type of person who takes your supplements sometimes, not other times, who dramatically changes your diet, who suddenly cleans up your diet when you know you're getting blood work, you're not getting accurate blood work. I already went through in one of the, I think it was part 3 of the LDL, I explained to you guys how easily your LDL scores can raise just on the drive over to the doctor's office. It can raise that fast. You can raise your LDL 20, 30% just because you had a stressful phone call or you're in a traffic jam and you're running late, or for that matter, if you're afraid of needles, your LDL will raise just because of that. It raises that quickly. So to go back to the point here, if you're somebody who's very consistent with your supplements, you take your D3, you take your magnesium, you take your fish oils. Those 3, if you're not taking them, by the way, I don't know how else to beat it into your head. But those 3 are minimum for everybody. If you're taking them every day, you get your blood work done, and everything comes out normal, it doesn't matter what your genetic polymorphisms are for D3, for magnesium, or for ALA to EPA, which is from fish oil. Those polymorphisms, which there are many of them, doesn't matter what they are because your blood work is coming out normal and because you're consistent. If you're not consistent, it's a problem. But there's a whole bunch of other polymorphisms, and I laid them out a little bit yesterday, like MTHFR, and MTHFR affects a lot of things, and if you're not familiar, then I suggest that you attend the seminars because we explain how intertwined MTHFR is with many, many things, including depression, not just methylation, but depression, gallbladder issues, digestive issues, cholesterol issues. Many, many things are implicated in MTHFR. So you need to go by both things, blood work and polymorphisms. Like I said, the other thing is with blood work is depending on the vitamin you're taking, you have to understand what the half-lives are of these supplements. Some supplements have very, very short half-lives and some are longer, meaning the vitamin. Like vitamin C has a very short half-life. There's ways to extend the half-life of vitamin C. And this is why we run seminars. This is why we educate you. And I'm trying to keep these videos very short. So I'm trying to answer questions in a shorter period of time. Somebody else asked about B12. They said, hey, this polymorphism that you're talking about with B12, are there any other issues with B12 that would affect my energy because I think that I have this problem? They may or may not. But just real quick, something as simple as, this is more of an ongoing thing than I think I've realized in the past, and maybe I'll do a separate video about this, but you know, lots of people are on some type of drug for acid reflux, a proton pump inhibitor. This affects your stomach acid, terribly. Right? It lowers your stomach acid. You want your stomach acid to be at a very specific pH. It's an acid. It's supposed to help break down your food. So you're supposed to chew your food, and then the food goes into your stomach. The acid helps break it down. If your acid is low, what's going to happen? The food won't break down as well, and that's a very big deal. If you're somebody who has gallbladder issues, it's an even bigger deal. If you have MTHFR polymorphism, it's an even bigger deal. So again, B12, if you're taking any type of medicine for your stomach acid or any type of proton pump inhibitor, your B12 levels will absolutely be low. I promise you that. So I go off on a tangent here, but hopefully that answers your question. Yes, there's a bunch of other reasons why your B12 levels could be low, but look at are you taking medicine? What's your stomach acid like? What are your polymorphisms? Are you taking, again, if you have MTHFR, you would need to take the methylated version of B12, which is methylcobalamin. Again, these are things that we talk about. If you do your 23andMe test with me, I go through that with you. So let's just take this thing just very, very quickly. This concept of like everybody's different. So some of you that listen to podcasts are familiar with Kayla Peterson, Jordan Peterson's daughter, who eats an all-meat diet. I don't know if you've heard this podcast. This is a woman who is a pretty young girl, actually. I think she's like in her early 20s. Had all these issues, all these allergies with food, and she eats an all-meat diet, and she claims that this is the only thing that that has helped her. And some of you may be like, well, how is that possible? Let me just use the context of the last few videos to show how this is very possible. It's simple. If you're somebody who doesn't break down fat well, meaning you have a gallbladder issue, and yes, gallbladder helps break down fat. Bile is necessary to help break fat down. And if you have a gallbladder problem, that means that that bile is running very, very slowly when it should be more like a dish soap consistency. If it's flowing like frozen molasses, you got issues, and you're not going to be able to break down fats. So now, right there, your fats won't break down. You have somebody with low stomach acid for any reason whatsoever. That's somebody who's going to have a problem processing carbs. Why? Because the acid isn't breaking down the carbs. The carbs will start to ferment higher up in your GI tract and even up in your stomach, which will cause SIBO. We've run seminars about SIBO and what happens there. So that person is going to feel like hell. And guess what? The only thing the person can eat. The only thing so we just took away fats, we just took away carbs. The only thing the person can eat is protein. That person is going to feel amazing on a high protein diet. And I just gave you all of the reasons why. And none of them are all that uncommon. So everybody is different. But unless we learn, unless we understand, unless we ask questions, you're not going to get it. That's why education, seminars, being coached is so critical to understanding your body. And we're trying to give you all the tools possible for you to be optimized. Have a great day, everybody.